So, yesterday I had a conversation with a young man about why I do not believe any men belong in women's spaces. Women's single sex safeguarding provisions were created on the basis of sex, not on the creation of brains, not on the creation of identity, not for any other purpose but to protect women based on our bodies, our physical circumstances. And today I want to talk about this book here that I'm putting up. This is right there, The Gift of Violence. And the author, Matt Thortan, is written this book as a practical knowledge guide for surviving and thriving in a dangerous world. And one of the key points that he speaks to that I really like, his little catchphrase, is don't invite the vampires into your sanctuary. Meaning, do not invite dangerous situations or persons into your life. Do not create scenarios in which you open the door to violent situations or persons. And the situation of allowing men to access women's single sex spaces on the basis of their mental identity claims invites in vampires into the sanctuary. And I want to talk about another thing, a couple of other things that he says in this book. He talks about criminality according to a couple of things. So he talks about violence according to moralistic violence, instrumental violence, or expressive violence, and he talks about criminals in terms of moralistic criminals, violent criminals, or character disordered individuals / criminals. Now, the moralistic violence is not the kind of violence that most of us are going to see. That is kind of like the Islamic jihad type suicide bomber violence for moralistic religious reasons. This is the least common type of violence that is encountered in the world. The next most common type of violence is the violent criminals. Now, these are violent criminals. This is like the guy who mugs you in order to get your wallet, or the guy who goes in and robs a bank and maybe beats someone up on the way. Now, this type of criminal is using violence for a purpose to get something that they want. So the violence is instrumental violence in order to serve a need. The most common type of criminal that we will encounter and the most dangerous is the character-driven individuals. And he says, character disordered individuals exhibit antisocial behaviors but rarely show their true malevolent or even violent faces at first. They usually enter your life disguised as sheep and may not yet even have been arrested or committed any prosecutable crimes. There are many such individuals, and thus they are encountered frequently. The most common type of violence they use is expressive, the spontaneous release of tension through aggressive behavior, but their violence can also be instrumental, the utilization of force to achieve a specific goal. Now, these sheep, these predators who are wolves disguised as sheep, use the means that we create. If society creates loopholes, they take advantage of these loopholes. And right now, what we are seeing in a lot of this Lily Tino bathroom situation is that he is taking advantage of this loophole. Okay, and the last thing I want to read you from this book is this. Predators assess information rapidly. As soon as they see you, they will size you up to see if you are a potential victim. If you look like a soft target, they will push your boundaries. If you fail to say no to any attempt of theirs to push those boundaries or ignore their first no, it sends a clear signal that they can take advantage of you. And before you know it, they are in. Much of this can be remembered by addressing the rule of the vampire in the beginning of this chapter. Do not let the vampire in. Never let them in. No means no. If you have to say no more than once, call the police. Not all predators will enter your world wearing the costume of a bad guy. A high percentage will try to slip beneath your radar as sheep. And this is the situation of the Lily Tino videos, going into the bathroom, signaling that he can violate women's boundaries, saying again and again, he knows women do not consent to him in their spaces. He knows he doesn't pass. He knows he looks like a man, but a situation has been created in which he has been allowed to discount women's no, to cross those boundaries. And he is signaling to other predators out there, come on in. The water is fine. You can cross women's boundaries. So that is why I so fiercely defend the single sex safeguarding provisions that have been created for women, for our sex-based needs. These boundaries must be vigorously defended. And I defend them. I encourage all other women to defend them. Do not allow men into your private space if you are in one. Have a friend go in with you so that you can fight any man who comes in with a partner. I'm going to keep talking about this, and I'm going to give you upcoming in my next video, I'm going to give you some tips and strategies about how to have these conversations in your real life. As always, if you want to follow me for more, go to my Substack, www.theunknownheretic.com. Give me in the comments if you want to hear any more or have a specific question, let me know and I will try to answer it. Thank you so much. Bye.